Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A dramatic Saturday with episodes of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense, August Teat starring Ronald Coleman from 1945, Bob Bailey, Virginia Gregg, and Let George Do It from 1948, The Cavalcade of America from 1943, the tragic personal story of Mary Todd Lincoln, an episode of Dragnet starring Jack Webb from this date in 1951, The Big Bindle, and a segment of the Orson Welles Almanac, which may explain why Orson never appeared on Suspense after Donovan's Brain. That's all coming up on this Saturday, 31st day of May, 151st day of the year, 214 days left till we get to 2026. The first copyright law enacted in the U.S. on this date in 1790, protecting books, maps, and other original materials. Big Ben chimed for the first time in London on this date in 1859. Big Ben. Oh, yes, we love him. Big Ben on this date in 1859. John Harvey Kellogg patented cornflakes on this date in 1884. Also on this date in 1889, heavy rains caused the South Fork Dam to collapse. It sent 20 million tons of water into Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Over 2,200 people were killed, and the town was nearly destroyed. It was on this date in 1911 the hull of the Titanic launched in Belfast. At the ceremony, a White Star Liner employee claimed not even God himself could sink this ship. Well, God couldn't, but an iceberg did. The last Ford Model T rolled off the assembly line on this date in 1927 after a production run of over 15 million vehicles. The British expeditionary forces withdrew from the Belgian sector of Dunkirk Pocket and returned home on this date in 1940.
On the station, I watched the men climbing into the long waiting trains. It was astounding to walk along carriage after carriage full of soldiers and to find in each one silence. For most of the men were fast asleep where they sat. All the way along the line, the people of England stood at the level crossings and in the back gardens to wave to them. And so the men of the BEF came home.
Not a particularly good day on this date in 1940. 1962, former Gestapo official Adolf Eichmann hanged in Israel. In 1969, John Lennon, Yoko Ono recorded Give Peace a Chance, the first single recorded by a solo Beatle, and they recorded it from their hotel bed. As the number of AIDS deaths increased rapidly, President Reagan on this date in 1987 ordered the Department of Health and Human Services to take stock of the crisis. He unveiled a controversial policy for testing of AIDS victims.
I've also asked HHS to add the AIDS virus to the list of contagious diseases for which immigrants and aliens seeking permanent residence in the United States can be denied entry.
As more was known about the disease, those restrictions were relaxed somewhat. House Speaker Jim Wright, dogged by questions about his ethics, announced he would resign on this date in 1989. He urged his fellow lawmakers not to retaliate.
Democrats, please don't feel that you need to get somebody on the other side because of me.
5 years later, in 1994, Congressman Dan Rostenkowski, the powerful chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, indicted on 17 counts of using government money for personal gain. U.S. Attorney Eric Holder describes some of the allegations.
Congressman Rostenkowski engaged in a pattern of corrupt activity for more than 20 years and embezzled hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars.
Rostenkowski lost his House seat in Chicago 5 months later. He negotiated a guilty plea in 1996 and was sentenced to 17 months in prison. In 2004, 97-year-old Alberta Martin, one of the last widows of a Civil War veteran, died. She had married Confederate veteran William Martin in 1927 when she was 21 and he was 81. Vanity Fair magazine revealed on this date in 2005 that former FBI Associate Director Mark Felt was Watergate informant Deep Throat. His grandson, Nick Jones, read a statement.
The family believes my grandfather, Mark Felt Sr., is a great American hero who went well above and beyond the call of duty.
In 2013, the astronaut 1998 QE-2 and its moon made their closest approach to Earth for the next 2 centuries. 2013, a record-breaking 2.6-mile-wide tornado struck El Reno, Oklahoma, 8 fatalities, 150 injuries. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, the only American soldier held prisoner in Afghanistan, freed by the Taliban on this date in 2014 in exchange for 5 Afghan detainees, from the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and his mom was really grateful.
Thank you to everyone who has supported Bo. He's had a wonderful team everywhere.
Janny Bergdahl on the release of his son from Afghanistan custody. A longtime city employee opened fire in a municipal building in Virginia Beach, Virginia, killing 12 people on 3 floors in 2019 before police shot and killed him. This woman was nearby.
Just terrified. We almost kind of felt like it wasn't real.
But it was very, very real. Passing away on this date in history, psychologist author Timothy Leary, tune in, turn on, drop out. Also jazz musician Tito Puente, Arlene Francis, actress, talk show host, TV personality, best remembered for her role in What's My Line. And the actress Jean Stapleton, all passing away on this date in history. Now, birthdays include Walt Whitman, the poet, Pope Pius XI, also Fred Allen. Oh my gosh, yes. He was born on this date. We played an episode of the Biography and Sound, a tribute to him, just a couple of days ago. Clergyman Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, actor Don Amici, singer Johnny Paycheck, who told you to take this job and shove it. Peter Paul and Mary's Peter Yarrow, who passed away earlier this year at the age of 86. Peter Yarrow, born on this date. Oh, and Lenny Welch, Since I Fell for You. Lenny Welch passed away earlier this year as well at the age of 86. And Vicki Sue Robinson, born on this date, still turning the beat around. All those folks are no longer with us, but they were born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Go ahead. Make my day. Clint Eastwood, 96 today.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Clint Eastwood, 95 years old today. From Cagney and Lacey, Sharon Glass is 82. The man who wore pantyhose, Joe Namath, 82.
Once I hurt my knee trying to make a tackle that a lot of people thought I shouldn't have been trying to make. Well, let me tell you, if you put that uniform on, you're supposed to be a football player, and you've got to be ready to go all the way. That's just the way I am. I guess that's why I use Brute. I like the smell. I like the way it works. The way it lasts.
Brute by Fabergé. After the game, after anything, Brute goes all the way.
If you're not going to go all the way, man, why go at all?
A 1973 Brute commercial, probably better known, though, not for Brute, but for Beauty Mist pantyhose. Joe Namath, 82 today. From Platoon, Tom Berenger is 76. From Falcon Crest, he was also Gonzo and Trapper John M.D. Gregory Harrison, 75. One of the writers for David Letterman, Bob Elliott's son, Chris Elliott, is 65 today. From Back to the Future and Red Dawn, Leah Thompson is 64. Singer-songwriter Corey Hart is 63. Brooke Shields is 60.
I took her hand in mine and we went out of the ruined place. And as the morning mists had risen long ago when I left the forge, so the evening mists were rising now, and in all the broad expanse of tranquil light they showed to me. I saw no shadow of another parting from her. Reading is to the mind what Calvin's are to the body.
Calvin Klein jeans.
From a 1980 Calvin Klein commercial, Brooke Shields, 60 today. He was Bullseye in Daredevil. Colin Farrell, 49.
I didn't shoot anybody. You see a gun? Anywhere, look.
From the movie Phone Booth, Colin Farrell is 49 years old today. And Gable Stevenson, he was assigned by WWE in the NIL program that, that allows amateurs to go ahead and sign. And he wrestled one match in the WWE, and Farrell said, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. So he's now going to plan to do other things, I assume. Gable Stevenson is 25 years old today. Those are just a few of the people celebrating the 31st day of May is their birthday. If this is your birthday.
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're going to go back 80 years, May 31st, 1945. An episode of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Ronald Coleman in August Heat. That's next.
In the next episode of the series, If Freedom Failed, you'll hear what happens to sports in a closed society. Listen to James Whitmore as Rudy Gans in The Ball Player.
Thought I told you to bunt.
I know you did, Casey. But with all them men on base, I just couldn't do it. Especially the way them Russians was grinning like the game was in a bag.
Don't miss If Freedom Failed. Hear what could happen in an ordinary American town if communism took over the United States.
Now we go back 80 years, May 31st, 1945 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Now, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California presents
Suspense. Tonight, Roma Wines bring you the distinguished actor, Mr. Ronald Coleman, in one of the great suspense stories of our time, August Heat.
Suspense is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Before we bring you Ronald Coleman and our suspense play, here's a brief message from Elsa Maxwell, famed for her great charm as a hostess.
When food looks appetizing, it almost always lives up to expectations. When even so simple a main dish as a steaming, fragrant bowl of spaghetti or beans is surrounded by bright green salads, golden rolls or muffins, and brilliant Roma California Burgundy, the food is more enjoyable, more delightful.
And for a summery touch of the outdoors, a vase of flowers, perfect color complement to the deep, rich beauty of Roma Burgundy. You'll enjoy the fruity, robust taste, the tart piquancy of distinguished Roma Burgundy served cool. Truly, a masterpiece of fine winemaking. Like all Roma wines, Roma Burgundy is unvaryingly good, always high in quality of bouquet, color, and taste. The happy reward of selected grapes, brought slowly to perfection, gently pressed, then carefully guided to flavor fullness by the ancient skill of Roma's noted wineries in California's choicest vineyards. Yet all this goodness is yours for only pennies a glass. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you a remarkable tale of suspense.
And with August Heat, W.F. Harvey's matchless narrative of premonition, and the brooding terror of twilight and the unseen, and with the performance of Ronald Coleman, Roma Wines hope indeed to keep you in suspense.
Phillistin Road, Clapham, August the 20th, 1945. I have had what I believe to be the most remarkable day in my life. And while the events are still fresh in my mind, I wish to put them down on paper as clearly as possible. Let me say at the outset that my name is James Clarence Withencroft. You must remember that in order to have the full implication of my story. James Clarence Withencroft. I'm 40 years old, in perfect health, never having known a day's illness. By profession, I am an artist. Not a very successful one, but I earn enough money by my black and white work to satisfy my necessary wants. My only near relative, a sister, died 5 years ago, so that there is no one in particular to whom I address this manuscript. Only you, who might by chance read it someday. For, because of the peculiar circumstance about which you will soon hear, I have the strong premonition that I shall never live to tell anyone about it. I breakfasted this morning at 9 at the usual time. It was no different from any other morning. And after glancing through the morning paper, I lighted my pipe. And I proceeded to let my mind wander, in the hope that I might chance upon some subject for my pencil. The room, though door and window were open, was oppressively hot. And I had just made up my mind that the coolest and most comfortable place in the neighborhood would be the deep end of the public swimming bath, when I was suddenly shaken. A feeling swept over me such as I'd never experienced before. I attempted to rise to my feet, but somehow it seemed as though I had suddenly been fastened to my chair. My hand went out in an effort to brace myself. And then, before I knew what I was doing, my pencil was in my hand, and I began to draw. It was as though someone had taken my hand and was moving it across the paper, swiftly, in bold strokes. And then I seemed to take over. My hand, under its own power, began to draw. I soon forgot the oppressive heat. Everything was forgotten in this frantic feeling that the sketch must be finished as soon as possible. I had no idea how long I worked until I heard the clock of St. Jude's in the distance. It was 4 o'clock. And I had started just after breakfast. Now, for the first time since I'd begun, I actually seemed to see what I had been sketching. I was surprised. The final result was, I felt sure, the best thing I'd ever done. It showed a criminal in the dock immediately after the judge had pronounced sentence. The man was fat, enormously fat. The flesh hung in rolls about his chin. It creased his huge, stumpy neck. He was clean-shaven, or perhaps I should say a few days before he must have been clean-shaven. And he was almost bald. He stood there before the judge, his short, clumsy fingers clasping the rail, looking straight in front of him. The feeling that his expression conveyed was not so much one of horror as of utter, absolute collapse. There seemed nothing in the man strong enough to sustain that mountain of flesh. And then I saw that the sketch wasn't complete, for the man's other hand seemed to be clutching an instrument of some kind, a weapon, but it hadn't been completed. I had made this sketch, and yet I had no recollection of what I'd intended the man to carry in his other hand. I took up my pencil again, and I attempted to fill in the fuzzy outline, but it was useless. It was as though my fingers had suddenly turned to lead. I sat down, and I felt the moisture slowly forming on my forehead. And once again, I was conscious of the oppressive heat. Then I knew that there would be no finishing of the sketch, at any rate not for the moment. So I rolled it up, and without quite knowing why, I put it in my pocket. In spite of my peculiar inspiration, I was filled with a rare sense of happiness which the knowledge of a good thing well done gives. I believe that I set out with the idea of calling upon Trenton, for I remember walking along Lytton Street and turning to the right along Gilchrist Road at the bottom of the hill where the men are at work on the new tram line. From there onwards, I have only the vaguest recollection of where I went. Through parks, along crowded streets, always conscious of the awful heat that came up from the dusty asphalt pavement in a suffocating wave. I remember, too, the hollow sound of my footsteps as I moved along. Although walking aimlessly, I somehow knew that there was a goal, something to which I was drawn. I longed for the thunder promised by the great banks of copper-colored clouds that hung low over the western sky. I've really no idea how far I walked when a small boy roused me from my abstraction.
You got the time, mister?
20 minutes to 7.
Thanks. Hot enough for you, sir?
Yes. When he left me, I began to take stock of my bearings. I found myself standing before a gate that led into a yard bordered by a strip of thirsty earth. There were flowers, purple stock and scarlet geranium, and great numbers of bees droned over them. I stood looking down at them for a moment, and then, for some reason, I looked up. Over the entrance to the place, there was a board with the inscription, Charles Atkinson, Monumental Mason, worker in English and Italian marbles. From the yard itself came a cheery whistle, the noise of hammer blows and the cold sound of steel meeting stone. A sudden impulse made me enter, and I went in the direction of the noise. There was a man, sitting with his back towards me. He was busy at work on a slab of curiously veined marble. Then, without turning, his hammer stopped in midair as he was about to bring it down on his chisel. He held this position a moment before turning, but I knew that he was aware of my presence, and when he turned, I saw his face. It was, although I'd never seen him before, it was the face of the man I had been drawing. Yes, it was the face of the man whose sketch was in my pocket. He sat there on his low stool, huge and elephantine, the sweat pouring from his scalp, not speaking. Then he took a red silk handkerchief and he mopped his brow. Although this face that looked up at me was the same as my sketch, the expression was absolutely different. Suddenly the puzzled expression left his face, and he smiled, as if we were old friends. And he walked over and he took my hand.
Good day, sir.
Good day. I'm sorry to intrude.
Not at all.
Everything is so hot and glary outside. This is like an oasis in the wilderness.
I don't know about an oasis, but it certainly is hot. Whew. Take a seat, sir.
He pointed to the end of the gravestone on which he was at work, and I sat down.
Whew. Very hot.
That's a beautiful piece of stone you've got hold of.
In a way it is. The surface here is as fine as anything you could wish. But there's a big flaw at the back. Oh, I don't expect you'd notice it.
Oh, I shouldn't think so.
I could never really do a good job at a bit of marble like that. It would be all right in the summer like this. Wouldn't mind the blasted heat. But wait until the winter comes.
Winter?
There's nothing quite like frost to find out the weak points in stone.
Oh.
A gravestone, you see.
Oh, I see. Then what's this one for?
You'd hardly believe if I was to tell you, but it's for exhibition. It's the truth. Artists have exhibitions, so do grocers and butchers. Oh, we have them too. All the latest little things in headstones, you know.
He went on to talk of marbles, which sort of marble best withstood wind and rain, and which were easiest to work. Then of his garden and some new sort of carnation he had bought. At the end of every other minute, he would drop his tools, wipe his shining head.
This heat's bad. A man's not responsible for what he does in this heat.
I said little, for I felt uneasy. There was something unnatural, uncanny in all of this, the feeling that I'd experienced it all before. The oppressive heat, the fragrance of the stocks in the air, the conversation about the marble, the flowers, everything as though I had experienced it before. And yet I knew that I'd never ever been in this section of town before. I tried to persuade myself that at least I'd seen him before, that his face, unknown to me, had found a place in some out-of-the-way corner of my memory. But I knew that I was practicing little more than a plausible piece of self-deception. As I sat there quietly, watching him, he looked up at me and he said,
There. What do you think of that?
He said it with an air of evident pride, of a job well done. I could sense that he was experiencing the same feeling I had experienced when I'd finished my sketch. Then he got up with a sigh of relief.
Hot, ain't it?
I was seated in such a position that I was unable to see his work. And for some reason, I didn't move. Suddenly, he began to read what he'd carved on the tombstone. He spoke deliberately and with a flat voice.
In the midst of life, we are in death. Born January 18, 1905.
I looked up with a start. This man had read my exact birthday.
He passed away very suddenly on August 20th, 1945.
That's today.
We usually use the present date on these exhibition stones.
Do you usually put a name on them, too?
Yes. Sacred to the memory of James Clarence Withencroft.
Cold shudder swept over me, and I sat there in silence. The sound of birds and crickets seemed loud in my ears as we stood there, looking at each other, saying nothing. And then he mopped his brow again.
Hot.
I was finally able to speak. Where did you see that name?
Oh, I didn't see it anywhere. I wanted some name, and I put down the first that came into my head.
It's a strange coincidence, but it happens to be mine.
Huh? That's your name? You're James Clarence...
Withencroft, yes.
Wow. And the dates?
I can only answer for the birth date. It's correct.
Oh. That's a rum go.
I made a sketch this morning of you.
Of me? But you've never seen me before.
No.
Oh. Oh.
I took my sketch from my pocket and I showed it to him. As he looked, the expression on his face altered until it became more and more like that of the man I had drawn.
And it was only the other day before that I told Maria there were no such things as ghosts.
Neither of us had seen a ghost, but I knew what he meant. Then I spoke to him. You probably heard my name someplace.
Yes. You must have seen me somewhere and forgotten it.
Yes.
Were you at Clacton-on-Sea last July?
No, I've never been to Clacton in my life.
Oh.
And we were silent for some time again. And we stood there looking at one another and at the 2 dates on the gravestone. And the birth one was right and the other was today.
Well, come inside and have some supper.
His wife was a strange little woman who was pallid with the look of those who live their lives indoors. Her husband introduced me as a friend of his who was an artist, and he informed her that I was staying to supper. I spoke, making some comment that I hoped I wouldn't be an intrusion, and she looked up at me and she said,
"You have a pleasing voice, Mr. Withencroft, and you're welcome in my home. I'm sorry Charles has not brought you here before."
Very little was said during the meal, and after the sardines and watercress had been removed, she walked over to a cupboard and she took down a thin black book, and as she handed it to me, she spoke.
"Would you read aloud, Mr. Withencroft?"
Puzzled, I looked down at the book which she'd opened and placed before me. It was a very tiny book. The Prophet, it was called, by an author unknown to me with a strange Eastern name, Khalil Gibran. And my eyes fell across the page, and suddenly I was reading aloud, as she'd asked me to. Then Almitra spoke, saying, "We would ask now of death." And he said, "You would know the secret of death. But how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance. I looked up, Mr. Atkinson had gone. But his wife stood before me, and as she took the book, she spoke.
Thank you.
Then I went outside. And I found Atkinson sitting on the gravestone and smoking. He looked up at me.
Hot. Man's not responsible for what he might do in this heat. She never asked anyone to read aloud before.
And then we talked about the sketch again. He looked at it.
Likeness is me, all right. On trial.
You must excuse my asking, but do you know of anything you've done for which you could be put on trial?
No, I've done nothing. Not yet.
He got up, fetched a can from the porch, and he began to water the flowers.
Twice a day regular in the hot weather. And then the heat sometimes gets the better of the delicate ones, and ferns. Good Lord, they could never stand it. Where do you live?
I told him my address. It would take an hour's quick walk to get back home. And he stopped watering, and he faced me squarely.
It's like this. We'll look at the matter straight. If you both go back home tonight, you take your chance of accidents. A cart may run over you. There's always banana skins and orange peels, to say nothing of falling ladders.
He spoke of the improbable with an intense seriousness that would have been laughable 6 hours before. But I did not laugh.
The best thing we can do is for you to stay here till 12 o'clock. Then it'll be tomorrow, do you see?
Yes.
We'll go upstairs and smoke. Maybe cooler inside.
And to my surprise, I agreed. We are sitting in a long, low room beneath the eaves. Atkinson has sent his wife to bed. He himself is busy sharpening some tools at a little oilstone, smoking one of my cigars the while. And as I look at my sketch before me, I suddenly see the fuzzy outline of what the man in the picture holds in his hands. But while I had not been able to sketch it before, I am able to do so now. It is a chisel, and it is stained with dark liquid. The sketch is completed now. The air seems charged with thunder, and I hear it in the distance. It is ominous, but it carries the hope of rain. And perhaps this damnable heat will be broken soon, and the day will soon be over. It is close to 12. I am writing this at a shaky table before the open window. The leg is cracked, and Atkinson, who seems a handy man with his tools, is going to mend it as soon as he has finished putting an edge on his chisel. There. It is 12. The day is over, and I shall be going home. But the heat is stifling. This heat is enough to send a man mad.
And so closes August Heat, in which Roma Wines have brought you Ronald Coleman as star of tonight's study in Suspense. Suspense is produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Music for August Heat was composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Dennis Hoy appeared as Atkinson.
This is Truman Bradley with a word for Roma Wines, the sponsor of Suspense. America's famed authority on hospitality, Elsa Maxwell, recently made this suggestion for gracious entertainment.
Your friends will respect your good taste when you serve delightful Roma California Tokay. Enjoyable at any time, with coffee or dessert, with nuts and fruit. I suggest serving Roma Tokay cool.
A most timely suggestion from Miss Maxwell. You'll find flame bright Roma Tokay velvety smooth, moderately sweet, light, yet delightfully rich in color. And you'll find Roma wines always delicious, of unvarying fine quality and goodness. June is the month of weddings, and the most distinguished way to face the June bride is by serving Roma California champagne. Its gold and sparkle and delicious, delightful dryness tell you that here is a truly fine champagne, Roma champagne. Next time you plan for a special occasion, add this sparkling touch of perfection, good Roma champagne.
Next Thursday, you will hear John Payne and Frank McHugh as stars of Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
"80 years ago, May 31st, 1945, Suspense on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, Bob Bailey, Virginia Gregg. We'll let George do it.
Don't miss the final episode in the series, If Freedom Failed. The Union Killer, which is the story of a communist labor official in action, stars Jack Webb.
The function of a trade union is to aid the Communist Party to carry out the plan of production under such hours and such wages and such working conditions and such punishments as may be necessary to secure the fulfillment of the plan.
Don't miss If Freedom Failed. Hear what could happen in an ordinary American town if communism took over the United States.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now with an episode of Let George Do It, a West Coast program starring Bob Bailey and Virginia Gregg. This goes back 77 years, May 31st, 1948.
Standard of California, on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West, invite you to Let George Do It. Another adventure of George Valentine.
Personal notice. Danger is my stock and trade. If it's something you can't handle and it must remain strictly confidential, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Dear Mr. Valentine, I've worked very hard to get what I want out of life. A successful marriage, a husband who's highly respected in the community, everything. Now, by one of her foolish whims, my own sister threatens to destroy all that. She's been missing for 2 days and must be found without any publicity. That's why I'm calling on you.
Calling on you instead of the police. Phone me this afternoon when my husband is sure not to be here. Tuxedo Lake, 673. I'll be at your office any time you say. Signed, Edith Wilder.
Tuxedo Lake, huh?
Uh-huh.
That little body of water's become very fashionable lately.
Well, I don't want to sound grasping, George, but if the Wilders live on the exclusive island in Tuxedo Lake...
Yeah, I know, Brooksy. The fee could be a thing of beauty. All right, call Mrs. Wilder for an appointment at the office tomorrow morning.
After thinking it over, Mr. Valentine, I decided to bring Angela's husband with me.
Oh, Edith, you shouldn't have hired this man's services. Angela is free to do anything she chooses now.
Leave this to me, Walter. This is my sister's husband, Mr. Phillistin.
Mr. Phillistin?
How do you do?
My assistant, Miss Brooks.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Do you mind if she takes some notes? So far, I'm in the dark about this whole thing.
Anytime you're ready.
It'll take just a few not very pleasant words. Angela's disappeared again. This time there's every reason to believe it'll cause a scandal none of us will ever live down.
Oh, Edith.
Mrs. Wilder, just how old is your sister?
Well, she's 2 years younger than I am, 42. You'll get all the information you need, and I'm sure you'll know just how to proceed.
You may as well tell him the whole truth, Edith, as long as you've gone this far.
Walter.
Do you want me to put all this down, George?
No, Brooksy. I think we'll get to the point right now. Look, Mrs. Wilder, what about the whole truth?
Oh, I wanted to avoid that.
You see, Mr. Valentine, I'm Angela's third husband.
Take it down from here, Brooksy.
Right, George.
The third man she's married through a matrimonial agency.
And now corresponding with another man before she's even divorced from Walter.
Oh, I see.
No matter what happens, this must never come out. You don't know how people are out at Tuxedo Lake. Even if my own husband found this out...
When I put the word confidential in my ad, Mrs. Wilder, I meant it. Now, Mr. Phillistin, are you sure your wife was corresponding with another man?
Yes, I found a letter from him and his picture in a bureau drawer. I tore it up right in front of her face and threw it in the fire.
Well, that wasn't very smart. It might have helped you get a divorce without paying through the nose.
Oh, I realize that now.
What do you mean by that?
Well, last Monday I had lunch with Angela. She said she'd settle for $20,000 in cash in our house on Tuxedo Island.
And you mean you just shelled out $20,000 like that?
Yes, that same afternoon. It seemed the easiest way. She threatened to sue me for desertion if I left her and take all the money I have if she took me to court and tied up my contracts. And, I'm a builder, you know, and it would cost me much more than that.
I just want you to bring Angela back here before she causes a scandal that will wreck all our lives.
Mr. Phillistin, would you recognize the man in that picture if you ever saw him?
I can't be sure. I suppose so. I was so upset I don't even remember the name if there was one.
George, don't you think we ought to get the name of that marriage club?
I ought to know that. That's the way I met her. It's the Shelby Friendship Club. Meet your companion for life.
The important thing is this, Mr. Valentine. Walter is staying with me and my husband on the island. So far, we only told Richard that Angela is off visiting some friends. It must remain that way.
Okay, I'll do my best. You'd better give me the keys to your place, Phillistin. Maybe I can pick up a lead there.
Here you are. That's that. When a woman is just over 40, well over 60...
This is no time for you to feel sorry for yourself, Walter.
Hey, Brooksy, take these keys. I'll meet you on the landing at Tuxedo Lake in a couple of hours. Then we'll go over to Mr. Phillistin's house.
Okay, George.
Well, what are you going to do, Mr. Valentine?
Pay a visit to the Shelby Friendship Club. See what I can find out about Angela's unknown suitor. Now, Mr. Selby, I'm afraid I'm not mistaken.
I can't believe it, Mr. Valentine. Not Angela Kramer Holloway, Phillistin.
Amazing how you remember the names of all her husbands. But, of course, you've been providing her with them for years.
Young man, I don't like your cynical tone.
So sorry. I guess I got out of the wrong side of the bed this morning.
The Friendship Club serves a very definite purpose.
Yeah, I know.
Bringing together people with identical interests has proven much more successful than aimless courtships and haphazard romances. Our motto is meet your companion for life.
Such as Mrs. Angela Kramer Holloway Phillistin.
Of course, there are exceptions.
All right,
but...
let's skip the spiel, Cupid. It stands to reason that if Angela got the romantic urge again, she'd patronize the Friendship Club, which gave her such excellent service in the past.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, sir. I know of no correspondence between Mrs. Phillistin and any of my clients.
You sure about that?
In fact, Mr. Valentine, I tore up Angela's card in our files. After a year, I assumed she was blissfully united with that nice elderly Mr. Phillistin.
Well, don't get a nervous breakdown, friend. You can always type another card. Now, look. You put out a bulletin, don't you? Listing the different eager beavers bent on matrimony?
Yes, indeed. Once every month.
Well, if I could get a hold of your latest bulletin, maybe Mr. Phillistin could spot the man he saw in that letter.
Unfortunately, the new bulletin won't be off the press at the Bixby printers for another week. Then I shall be glad to let you see one.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, don't mention it. But if you think I'm just one of those fly-by-night marriage bureaus, you're sadly mistaken. I've spent 30 years bringing together people who thought they didn't have a soulmate in the world.
Goodbye, Mr. Selby.
Well, George, looks as though this trip to Phillistin's house wasn't worth the boat ride across the lake.
Yeah, Angel. Everything neat as a pin inside there. Not a sign of violence anywhere.
Well, we don't have much to work on, do we?
Well, I thought I could get something out of Selby. That was a complete washout.
Well, George.
Yeah, Brooksy.
May I say something? I mean, as a woman.
I wouldn't have you say it any other way.
Oh. Well, did you notice Mrs. Phillistin's closets?
Oh. Like any other woman's? Why?
stuffed to overflowing with furs, lined with dozens of dresses and racks of shoes.
Look, this is no time to comment on feminine extravagance, Angel.
Yeah, but how about feminine psychology?
Huh?
Well, members of our sex just don't leave all those frills and fripperies behind, especially when we're supposed to be running off with another man.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute, Brooksy. You got something.
Mm-hmm.
Look, get to a phone.
Okay, I saw one in the living room.
Call the Wilders. If Edith doesn't want to walk over here, ask her for a quick inventory of her sister's things.
Of course. She'll know if Angela took anything with her.
How do you like that? She can't just be missing. Nothing as simple
ever is, my friend.
Hey, where did you come from?
Who are you, one of Angela's friends? It's hard to tell. Sometimes they're young, sometimes they're old.
What have you got to do with Angela?
Oh, nothing. I'm just her son.
Son?
So you see, I speak with authority. Can I get you a drink?
Well, if you're her son, aren't you at all concerned about what's happened to her since Monday?
I haven't been able to sleep one single night.
Now, that's obvious.
I have the greatest admiration for my mother and her assorted husbands. I'm Bud Kramer. I spring from Mama's #1 marriage club bargain. Are you going to be the fourth, Papa?
The name's Valentine. I'm here to see if I can find your mother.
Get out.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
I said get out. If you never find her, it'll be the best break I ever got. This house will belong to me, and I'll come into some money.
If you don't stop sticking your chin in my face, son, I'm going to have to do something about it.
Oh, it's fine to have a mother you can respect. You know, you can always help her with her letters when she decides it's time for another husband. Well, didn't you hear me? Get out of here!
Let's not be a problem, huh?
Let go of my arm.
You'd better go upstairs and go to bed. You've had a busy night, and you've been getting around today, too. Go on, sleep it off.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sing myself to sleep with Brahms' lullaby. Or maybe I'll make it Mother McCree. Be sure to find my mother, will you? Tell her how much a little boy needs her.
George, who was that? What does he mean?
We'll get to him later. What did Edith say?
Well, it's the strangest thing, darling.
Yeah, what is?
Edith says apparently Angela didn't take a stitch of clothing with her. And you know that blue plaid dress hanging over the chair in her bedroom?
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, Walter said that was the one she wore the day he gave her the $20,000 and she disappeared.
With a towel around her or a bathing suit? Oh, no, Brooksy, this doesn't whack up at all.
Yeah, I know.
It's beginning to look more like something for homicide, not missing persons.
Well, Lieutenant Riley is just going to love us when we present him with this case.
Well, of course, we're not sure yet. Brooksy, I'm going to take one more stab at keeping this confidential.
Meaning?
A visit to Bixby Printers. I'd like to get a preview of next month's bulletin of the Friendship Club. I know Selby's bulletin hasn't come out yet, Mr. Bixby, but could I take a look at the advance proofs?
Well, I suppose I could do that for you. They're right over here.
Oh, we'll have them back in the morning. We just want someone to take a look at them.
I take it, Mr. Valentine, you're from the police.
Well, let's just say I'm working with the police.
Well, okay, just so long I don't lose any time on the job. Yeah, they're right here in this file. I just had them out a couple hours ago. Shelby called up and wanted something ripped out before we went to press.
Oh.
George, that would be after you talked to him.
Yeah, I know. Look, Bixby, have you got that part Selby wanted left out?
Was there a picture of a man in it?
No, as I remember it, it was the listing of a lady. She must have changed her mind. Happens all the time. Sent the picture back to Mr. Selby by messenger. But here's the copy that went with it, if you want to see it.
Yeah. Friendship Club member number 40. Young, attractive divorcee. Amiable, fun-loving, anxious to live life to the fullest. Major interests, good books, cooking, and so forth and so on.
Well, that's a dead end.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Bixby, we'll have these back to you in the morning first thing. Let's get back, Brooksy.
You know, I'm beginning to feel like a Tuxedo Lake commuter. To be exclusive, George, but I'd hate to make this trip to the island every time I came home late.
Yeah, it is kind of dark, Angel. But that green light way up ahead, that's the Phillistin dock.
Say, what happens if Mr. Phillistin doesn't recognize any of these Romeos in the bulletin as Angela's boyfriend?
Well, suspecting what we do, Brooksy, we'll just have to dump the case in Lieutenant Riley's lap tomorrow morning.
We won't be giving him much to work on, except our suspicions.
And the fact that when a woman walks around with $20,000 in cash, she just naturally... Hey, Brooksy, that motorboat coming toward us.
Well, they can see us. They've got their searchlight right on us.
Well, I can't see a thing with that glare.
Turn, George, turn. They're coming right at us.
I'm trying. What's the matter with you, you fool? Can't you see them? Brooksy!
We'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine in just a moment. Meanwhile, a word about preparedness and that summer holiday. If you're planning a vacation trip with the family car, here's a suggestion from a whole group of service folks, the men at standard stations and at independent Chevron gas stations. As soon as you can, stop in. They'll be glad to give your car a troubleshooting vacation check. It's no fun to be way out in the middle of nowhere with a broken fan belt or sparkless spark plugs or a radiator that wants to be a geyser. To guard against that kind of mishap on your vacation, get a bumper-to-bumper inspection before you leave. Comes the day you're ready to start out, make sure your car has its two best highway friends, Chevron Supreme gasoline and RPM motor oil. Wherever your vacation takes you in the West, just keep in mind that the men at independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations say and mean, we'll take better care of your car. And now back to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. A small outboard motorboat heading toward the island in Tuxedo Lake. Suddenly, out of the darkness roars a powerful motorboat, its searchlight blinding George and Claire. A sudden, terrifying crash as the boat upsets, leaving its shaken occupants to struggle ashore. And now, a few minutes later, in front of the fireplace in the Phillistin home, George and Claire are trying to puzzle out just what they might have stumbled on in this strange case of Angela Phillistin. Angela, still married but corresponding with a matrimonial club, and now missing for days.
Oh, George, this fire feels wonderful.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, there's one thing sure. Whoever just tried to feed us to the fish is right here on Tuxedo Lake.
Yeah, but what is it we know that we don't know we know?
Oh, Brooksy, at this point, I don't know from nothing. The three people who might possibly want us out of the way are right here on this island. Bud Kramer, Angela's son, who hates his own mother.
Mr. Phillistin, who got such a raw deal from Angela the one and only time he used the services of the Friendship Club.
Yeah, that's right. And Sister Edith, who said she'd do anything to keep a breath of scandal from the swank shores of Tuxedo Island.
All this doesn't exactly give you a comfortable feeling, does it?
Brooksy, before we see Lieutenant Riley in the morning, we're going to check every boat tied up around this lake.
George, where you going?
Hey, come here, Brooksy.
Huh? George, the Phillistin boat.
Yeah, the Angela. Tied up right here in front of the house, as innocent as you please. And look at this big dent right here on her nose. All the paint scraped off.
Well, it looks more and more like it has to be one of those three.
Yeah.
Hey,
What the?
there's somebody out there in the lake, George.
Oh, what a night. Just hope whoever was using this boat tonight left the keys in it.
Valentine, I've told you, I went into the village to celebrate.
Sounds phony to me, Bud.
What have you got to celebrate with your mother missing?
Well, that's what I was celebrating.
Let's skip that routine.
I was feeling pretty good, so I thought I'd swim across the lake.
Clothes and all?
Seemed like a good idea at the time. Suddenly I had to prove to myself that I was a reasonable facsimile of a man.
Yeah.
Guess I'm not in very good shape.
How about this version, Bud? You tied up the Angela after you plowed into us, and you were swimming away from the island toward the shore.
Then you'd be in the clear.
I don't know what you two are talking about.
We'll see about that later. Now, you go upstairs to your room and stay there.
Look, you can't order me around.
I said go to your room.
Yeah, go to your room, buddy. When I was a kid, whenever I was in the way, Angela would say, go to your room, buddy. My adoring mother. Fun-loving. Anxious to live life to the fullest. Well, where's my wondering mother tonight?
I can't help feeling sorry for that boy, George.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't listening to him very hard.
What?
These red flagstones in front of the fireplace.
Yeah, what about them?
Red stains on red flagstones wouldn't show up very clearly ordinarily, but the light of the fire brings them out.
Huh?
Look at them, Brooksy.
Is that blood?
Could be. This might be the sign of violence we didn't find when we went over this place before.
Well, if you're right, Lieutenant Riley will certainly have something to work on when we come back here in the morning.
And if I'm right, Brooksy, it means Angela Phillistin was murdered.
All right, Valentine. Where are these bloodstains you dragged me out here to see?
What, George, they're gone.
Wait a minute, what is this? Someone scrubbed these flagstones clean during the night.
You don't say.
Oh, what a metal midget I turned out to be. I should have stayed right here while you went back to town, Brooksy.
But how could anybody know what we found?
Oh, well, at least I'm bright enough to know the answer to that one. Somebody knew every move we made last night.
Ah! Stop sounding like a bee picture. Next, you'll be talking about trap doors and hidden passages.
Oh, that's not fair, Lieutenant Riley.
I get dragged out of bed. I bring the best men in the department out here with me. They dredge the lake, and all they're coming up with is some undernourished trout.
All right, Riley. Give me a chance to think, will you?
Hayes here. Look at him. One of the best men in our lab, crawling around on his knees like a charwoman, looking for something that isn't here. I'll be through here in a minute, Lieutenant. Oh, I can't thank you enough for that bracing, invigorating trip across the lake, Valentine, but I've got better things to do with my time.
Lieutenant, somebody tried to run us down on the lake last night, and he was using Phillistin's boat.
Yeah. Lieutenant. Yeah, what is it, Hayes? These red particles between the cracks in the floor here. They might mean something.
All right, be careful with those, Hayes. Very careful.
Got them in this bottle. You want to initial the label, Lieutenant, in case we ever need it for evidence? Yeah, sure. But just remember this, Valentine. If this proves to be ketchup from the weenie roast they had in this fireplace, I'll... So help me, I'll do it!
What do you say we wait and see, Lieutenant? It may not be ketchup at all. Just barbecue sauce. The kind that's too hot to handle.
Well, Valentine was right. It was blood, all right. Human blood.
Angela's? I don't understand. Who'd want to kill her?
Oh, I can't believe it.
We found it's the same blood type as your sister's, Mrs. Wilder.
Oh, no. No.
Now, that's not going to help at all, Mrs. Wilder.
Oh, I know I may have sounded selfish and petty. Just thinking of the scandal Angela might cause, but now that it looks as though my sister was murdered, none of that matters.
All right, folks, all right. Let's settle down and do some straight talking, huh? Mr. Phillistin.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Well, this is the way it shapes up. Your wife never left the island. If she did, she was carried out after she was murdered in front of that fireplace. And we'll find the body if we have to dig up every inch around Tuxedo Lake.
Lieutenant, I admit I wanted to hate Angela when I found out what she was doing. But I'll give everything I own to find the man who killed her.
Mr. Valentine, you were trying to track down the man Angela was corresponding with. What did you find out at that friendship club?
I did have some pictures for Mr. Phillistin to identify. But they're all at the bottom of the lake now.
Yes, very convenient.
About the $20,000, Mr. Phillistin, that you were supposed to have given your wife.
No, what about it?
We checked into all of your accounts. There's no record of any withdrawal like that.
Well, I took that money out of a safe deposit box.
Well, that's not where most people keep that much money, is it, Mr. Phillistin?
Oh, no, but being in the building game, it pays to be able to put your hands on ready cash.
All right, that's your story.
How I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong. Maybe it was foolish to resort to a marriage club, but I was lonely. She never brought me any happiness, but I never hurt Angela.
Well, we're going to stay right here at headquarters because we got a lot of things to talk about. I'm still checking on Bud Kramer's story. All he does is prattle about his amiable, fun-loving mother.
Oh, he's still at it, huh? Look, Brooksy.
Yes, George.
You stick right here. Lieutenant, you don't mind if I duck out for a few minutes, do you?
Oh, I won't waste time asking you why.
Oh, but I'll tell you. There's a little angle to this case I overlooked. But I'm going to take care of it right now. Come on, Shelby, give. You were holding out on me before, weren't you?
Well, I answered all of your questions to the best of my knowledge.
You mean you just told me as much as you thought I should know? But now you got to open up, Shelby. This is a murder case, and the police are in on it.
Oh, dear.
Well, come on, give.
All right. You understand, I had to think of my business, what it might sound like if Angela's disappearance ever got into the papers. You know
Never mind that, Cupid. Get to the point.
Yes, of course. I suppose I should have told you that Angela was the second wife of Walter Phillistin met through the Friendship Club.
Well, surprise.
That's the truth.
Some names, Selby, some facts.
Well, The name of Phillistin's first wife was Frida Merritt. She was a widow, pretty well off.
Yeah?
They were married 5 years ago, and then she...
Then what?
She was out alone fishing about 2 years ago. Her boat turned over, and she was drowned. But it was an accident, Mr. Valentine. The police said it was.
Uh-huh. Better get your hat, Shelby.
Why, where are we going?
Police headquarters. I want you to repeat that story to Lieutenant Riley. I think we found the answer to just what's been happening over there on Tuxedo Island.
Well, thanks, Mr. Selby. Now, what about this, Phillistin?
I suppose I should have known this would have come out anyway.
Why didn't you tell us before that you got your first wife through Shelby's Friendship Club?
Yes, you made us believe you were just a lonely man. And that was the first time you ever did anything like that.
Does any man ever want to admit that he was played for a fool twice?
What's that supposed to mean?
Frida and I weren't too happy after a while.
And she died. Well, believe me, we're going to check into that accident, and much more thoroughly this time, now that we know what we're looking for.
That was an accident.
And what about Angela?
Oh, I don't know what happened to Angela after I gave her the $20,000.
Of which we find no record.
I'm sorry, Mr. Phillistin, but I had to tell them what I knew.
Oh, leave me alone.
Oh, I do hope there'll be as little mention of the Friendship Club as possible in this affair.
Is that all you've got to worry about, Mr. Selby?
Of course, Miss Brooks. I've spent years and years building up...
Okay, Selby, okay. You can beat it now. We'll call you when we need you.
Yes, Lieutenant. Of course.
Just a minute, Lieutenant.
Is
it your usual practice to let a murderer walk out of your office?
What are you talking about?
You mean Selby?
What kind of a joke is this supposed to be? I told you all I knew.
Let me in on this, Valentine.
Me too.
I'd certainly like to know what you're talking about.
You had me on the hook for a long time, Selby, until I started remembering a few things.
Lieutenant, he doesn't know what he's saying.
Well, suppose we listen anyway.
And stop squirming, Mr. Lonely Hearts. You can't talk your way out of this. It's there in black and white.
Please, Mr. Valentine, tell us what you know.
When I first walked into your office, Selby, you said you thought Mrs. Phillistin was happily married.
Well, yes.
You said you even took a card out of the file and tore it up.
That's right.
But then why did you have her name listed in your new bulletin as a likely marriage prospect?
That's a lie.
Friendship Club member number 40, young, attractive divorcee, amiable, fun-loving, anxious to live life to the fullest.
Of course. That was a description of Angela. We never thought of it because we were looking for a man.
Those are the same words her son keeps repeating like a drunken parrot.
Words he could never forget, because they were the ones Angela always used when she was looking for a new husband.
That's the same way she described herself in the ad I answered.
Lieutenant, you don't
Save it, Cupid. You just ran your business too well. And that's what's going to hang you.
George, I still don't understand what reason Selby had for killing Angela.
Because Cupid got double-crossed, Angel.
Double-crossed?
Yep. According to Riley, Selby had quite a little racket on the side. Like Angela, for instance.
Oh?
He saw she was getting restless with a man so much older than herself.
I see. So why not get a nice fat settlement from the old boy? The Friendship Club can always come up with a new husband.
They would have split that $20,000, Brooksy. But when she said, no go, and if you do anything about it, I'll go to the police, he killed her and buried her body.
Selby didn't miss a trick, did he? Even to using Phillistin's boat to run us down.
Well, he knew what the police would think when they learned about how he married the first Mrs. Phillistin and how she died. Which, by the way, was an accident.
Oh, darling, I'm so glad. That we met in a nice, normal way.
Oh, yeah. A USO canteen. Yeah, I remember. You were one of the hostesses.
Yeah.
You walked up and said demurely, "What about it, soldier? Dance?"
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it beautiful?
Yeah. And then I said...
And that was that. After all, no girl could resist such a pretty compliment.
It's after 8 o'clock, and every minute counts. Mary's going to lead the promenade at the senior ball, if she ever gets there. Right now, she's with Roger in his car, and there's a big silence. Roger choked the engine and flooded the carburetor. Too bad. He should have used Chevron Supreme gasoline in his car. Special blending agents in this premium quality gasoline assure instant starts, speedy warm-up, powerful getaway in heavy traffic driving, fast starts, and all the power your car can handle wherever you're driving in the West. That's because Chevron Supreme is scientifically tailored to each different climate and altitude zone, whether you're driving a new car or one that's many years old, you'll like the new Get Up and Go that Chevron Supreme gives your car. Ask for it tomorrow at any standard station or independent Chevron gas station where they say and mean, we'll take better care of your car. Next week, when you tune our way for another adventure of George Valentine, you'll hear...
Oh, Mr. Dimmick, what was that?
One of the many voices of darkness that echo through the tunnel of love.
Now, calm yourself, Claire.
But what's that up ahead?
Yeah, what is that dim light, Dimmick? Seems to be coming from the wall of the tunnel.
It looks like a man. Maybe he's in trouble. You better hurry.
Patience. We can travel only as fast as the water flows through the tunnel. It's like fate carrying us.
That man's got a gun in his hand.
And pointed right at us. Down on the boat, everybody. That guy means business.
Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Let George Do It stars Robert Bailey as George with Frances Robinson as Claire. Wally Mayer appears as Lieutenant Riley. Tonight's story was written by David Victor and Herbert Little Jr. and directed by Don Clark. Also heard in the cast were Irene Tedrow as Edith, Paul McVeigh as Walter, Jack Edwards as Bud, Joe Forte as Selby, and Stanley Farrar as Bixby. The music is composed and conducted by Eddie Dunstetter. Your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
From May 31st, 1948, The Island in the Lake, and Let George Do It. Coming up tomorrow on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we've got a lot of great things coming up. We have Frontier Gentleman from 1958, a Suspense episode, Vincent Price and Rave Notice from 1958, the FBI in Peace and War from 1955, and the Hall of Fantasy and the Telltale Heart. And then the next day, My Friend Irma, starring Marie Wilson, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis with their guest Jeff Chandler. It is Fibber McGee and Molly from 1942, and Groucho Marx and You Bet Your Life. So we got a good weekend ahead here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage at classicradio.stream. Now, the Cavalcade of America comes up in a moment.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, the program that follows tonight's story of Escape is a special repeat broadcast of CBS Radio's hard-hitting drama, Bomb Target USA, with Arthur Godfrey as narrator and a corps of crack CBS Radio newsmen reporting from spotter locations and from so-called enemy bombing squadrons approaching our shores. Bomb Target USA reports factually and without fanfare exactly what America can expect today if enemy atomic bombers raided our major cities. Immediately following Escape tonight, on most of these same CBS radio stations, keep tuned for Bomb Target USA. And now, back to Escape.
Actually, this is not Escape. This will be the Cavalcade of America. And this episode stars the screen actor Helen Hayes. And the episode goes back 82 years, May 31st, 1943. The sad story of Mary Todd Lincoln, Mr. Lincoln's wife.
The Cavalcade of America, sponsored by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry, presents Helen Hayes as Mr. Lincoln's wife. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cavalcade of America, sponsored by DuPont. On this Memorial Day, with Helen Hayes as our star, we bring you the story of an American woman, a plain woman, a simple woman, who lived to know the sting of slanderous gossip, the emptiness of widowhood, the loneliness of age, Abraham Lincoln's wife. Our play, Mr. Lincoln's Wife, by Victor Wolfson, is based on a new biography of the same name by Ann Culver. Farrar and Reinhardt are the publishers. Here's an interesting news item from the field of chemistry about the nylon that used to make stockings. Perhaps you already know that nylon monofilament is replacing silk in surgical sutures and many other vital war needs. Now, many life rafts for flyers forced down at sea are supplied with nylon fishing lines. And now, DuPont Company presents Helen Hayes as Mr. Lincoln's wife.
My name is Mary Todd. Do you know who I am? Mary Todd. It's a simple name, a plain name. It makes you think of apple cider and hay rides and square dances. I married a man with a simple name, a plain name. Abe Lincoln. On November the 5th, 1860, I was a housewife. Mrs. Abe Lincoln, Jackson and 8th Street, Springfield, Illinois. I worried about the bills. I looked after the children. I was busy with the 1,001 things a woman has to do about a house.
You're fighting me, you.
Ted, Willie, stop that fighting and come in here.
Willie pushed me, Ma. He bit me in the leg.
I'm ashamed of both of you. Whatever will the neighbors think? Now go upstairs and watch for supper. Your father will be home any minute.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the way it was most days. Just a small town housewife. But suddenly, one day, everything changed.
Imagine my little cousin Mary Todd, the first lady of the land, as they say. If Abe wins the election, that is.
My sister Mary, the wife of the president if he wins. Do you know what that'll make me, Lizzie? The sister-in-law of the president of the United States.
Heavens to Betsy. And I'll be the president's cousin by marriage. Oh, why in the world am I talking to you when I should be down at the hotel watching the election returns come in?
Look, they're posting some more figures in the Pennsylvania column. 420 more for Honest Abe. 420.
Oh, did you ever see such a crowd in this lobby? All Springfield's turned out. Please stop pushing me. Oh, good evening, Lizzie. Where's Mary?
Oh, she's home, poor worn-out thing, trying to get the boys to sleep.
Willie's asleep at last. So's Tad. What a day you've had, Mary. I don't see how you can stand this waiting. It'll all be over soon, Emily. We'll know one way or another before long. Come, let's go downstairs. Careful not to step on that loose board. Emily.
Mommy.
Oh. Shh, Taddy. Go to sleep. You'll wake Willie.
I can't sleep either, Ma. Is Pa president yet?
Mary!
Oh, it's Lizzie. Lizzie, what is it?
I've run all the way from the hotel.
It's bad news, I know it.
Let me catch my breath.
For pity's sake, tell me. What's that?
A parade. They're bringing Abe home with the brass band. Mary, he's the new president.
The new president? Emily, I knew it would happen. The minute I set eyes on him 18 years ago, I knew it. People whispered about me behind my back when I said it. But just you wait, I used to say. And I was right, Emily, I was right. Yes, Mary. Come and sit down. You're worn out. No, I'm all right. Emily, don't stare at me like that. Don't you see this makes up for all the long, bitter years? Poor Mary Todd, people used to say. Married to a sad-faced failure. Why, he can't even provide a decent home for his family. I was ashamed to ask for credit at the stores. The clerks smirking, wondering when they'd get paid, if ever. Don't you see? This moment wipes it all out forever. Mr. Lincoln's wife! The president's wife!
I'll open the door. I'll welcome the new president home. Mr. Lincoln, my husband, I'm proud, very proud. Come, I have some hot cocoa on the stove for you. You must be tired. It had begun, the new life, the new adventure. We were on our way to Washington. I should have been excited and happy, but I wasn't. I was afraid. What will people say about me? Will I know how to do things correctly? Will my clothes be right? Will people laugh at me? No, I don't know what made me so afraid. Perhaps it was because Mr. Lincoln looked so sad. Yes, even now, in his triumph, walking down to the speaker's stand in the Capitol to make his inaugural address, he was the saddest man I ever saw.
Look, Mommy, there's Papa way down there.
Shh, Teddy.
Look, he's staring up here at us, Ma.
Just nod and smile. That's right.
He smiled back at us, Mommy.
Shh, Tad, listen to him. That evening, we attended the inaugural ball. There was laughter, music, dancing, yes. But there was something else, too. It stood in the doorways. It moved beneath the great chandeliers. It was present everywhere. Suspicion. I could feel it around me. Wherever I looked, I saw enemies dancing together, laughing.
Mary, isn't it the most wonderful ball? Did you ever see so many handsome uniforms and so much to eat and drink?
Yes, Emily. Everyone seems happy. I'm glad.
Everyone except your husband. Look at him standing there in the corner. Why, he looks as if he were attending his own funeral. Now,
don't say that.
Why, Mary, I didn't mean anything.
Forgive me, Emily. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Who's that he's talking to?
Oh, that's the Secretary of Treasury's daughter, Kate Chase.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, and she wags the most dangerous tongue in Washington. Ben Helm told me all about her.
Your new beau knows a lot about Washington. I'd like to meet him.
Would you, Mary? He's here. He's asked me to marry him. But he's a Southerner, Mary.
What of it? So are you and I, Emily. So are our brothers. For heaven's sake, don't let geography stop you if you love him, Emily. Go on, bring him here.
I'll be back in a minute.
Mrs. Lincoln, I'm Kate Chase.
Oh, yes.
I was just thinking how well you stood it.
Stood what?
Having us all come here just to stare at you. You seem to enjoy it. Will you have some punch?
No, thank you. One gets used to being stared at, I expect, Miss Chase. Certainly you would know about that better than I.
You have wit, Mrs. Lincoln. I can't believe you're from the Middle West.
Did you expect me to wear a poke bonnet and ride around Washington in a covered wagon, Miss Chase?
Oh, no, not that. But isn't it curious, a member of a Southern family like yourself, married to a man who's against slavery? I should think your being Southern might lead to family tension.
Our family tensions are, or lack of them, are of no public concern, Miss Chase.
Oh, please, don't take offense. Will you excuse me? There's a senator from Missouri. He's a bitter enemy of your husband's, you know.
I'm sure he'll be a worse one when you're through talking with him, Miss Chase.
Oh, I simply adore your wit, Mrs. Lincoln. That was excellent punch.
Oh, Mary, here you are. We've been looking for you. This is Mr. Ben Helm, Mary.
Well, I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Helm.
Mrs. Lincoln?
I hope you'll be in Washington a good long time.
Well, ma'am, that depends on two things. Emily and the war.
The war?
Yes, ma'am. War that's coming.
Coming fast.
It was true. The war did come. They fired on Fort Sumter. Civil War. I sat in my room holding back the old unknown fears. Yes? Who is it?
It's me, Emily.
Emily. Emily. Ben. Oh, when did you get back? Come in. I'm so glad to see you.
I came right from the station, Mary. We cut the honeymoon short.
Ben, what are you going to do now? You've had years at West Point. You should apply for a commission. We need men like you, Ben.
I was offered a commission, Mary. I refused it. I'm going back home, Mary. I'm a Southerner. I couldn't fight my own people.
I understand, Ben. And you, Emily, you're going with him, of course?
Yes, Mary.
I shall miss you both very much. It'll be lonely for me here in Washington.
Goodbye, Mary.
Goodbye, my dear. Good luck, Ben. My sister and her husband going over to the Confederate side. What would Kate Chase say now? What would the rumors be now? I had to act quickly to head off the flood of talk that was let loose against me. I sent for my husband's secretary.
I don't know if I can help you, Mrs. Lincoln.
You must, Mr. Stoddard. I must do something to stop these rumors, to show people I'm not pro-slavery. You remember that letter I had from a Mrs. Orville about a Negro school she wants to organize?
Yes.
I'd like you to get me a list of people I might go and see about this school.
At a time like this, with feelings running high, there might be bad talk, Mrs. Lincoln.
Talk? Do you think I don't know there's talk enough already? They've accused me of being a Southerner and a spy. Wouldn't my working for this Negro school prove that I'm against slavery?
I'm afraid that people who circulate such stories aren't likely to be convinced by any sort of proof.
Then what am I to do, pray? Just sit by and do nothing at all?
For the present, that might be best. In these times, one can't be too cautious.
Mr. Stoddard, I will not hear that word cautious again. Every fool in the city talks of nothing but being cautious.
Mrs. Lincoln.
I've tried your precious caution, Mr. Stoddard, and what has it got me? Nothing but hatred and lies. Spiteful, vicious lies about me.
Mrs. Lincoln, I realize that it's been most trying, but we can only be patient and try to understand.
Mr. Stoddard, will you please, for mercy's sake, stop trying to soothe me? You talk as if I were ill or out of my mind. I daren't read the letters from my own brothers because they happen to live in the South, and I'll be called a traitor. I'm spied on and talked about in my own house. But I can't discharge a servant who's insolent to me for fear of having more vile stories spread about me. And then you tell me I must be patient and try to understand. I'll go mad if it goes on this way. Mad, do you hear me? Well, don't stand there staring at me like that, Mr. Stoddard. There's no reason to be alarmed. I'm quite myself. Quite. Good day, Mr. Stoddard.
You are listening to Helen Hayes as Mr. Lincoln's wife on the Cavalcade of America, sponsored by DuPont. As our play continues, Mary Todd Lincoln finds herself in the White House alone, without friends. The Civil War is reaching its climax.
Yes, the band stopped playing. There were no more cheers. The war was being fought desperately. I rarely saw Mr. Lincoln now. He was in constant session with his cabinet, with his generals. I was alone. I turned to my children, little Tad and Willie, for companionship. Then suddenly one day, Willie came down with a fever. I sent for the doctor.
I'm afraid it's quite serious, Mrs. Lincoln.
But, Doctor, it can't be. Why, he's never been sick a day in his life.
I advise you to have a nurse in. You'll have a chance to rest then.
I don't need a rest, and I won't have a nurse. I won't have some stranger coming in. No one understands Willie as I do.
Mrs. Lincoln, I feel that in the present crisis, your nerves...
Oh, no. What are you trying to tell me about my nerves, Doctor?
My dear Mrs. Lincoln, I assure you I mean no criticism. I understand the strain you must be under here in the White House. It's only natural that your nerves...
For pity's sake, will you stop talking about my nerves? Perhaps you think...
Perhaps I think what, Mrs. Lincoln?
Nothing. Leave me alone. Send a nurse in if you want to, but do what you like. Only leave me alone.
There'll be one here in the morning. Good day, Mrs. Lincoln.
Mrs. Lincoln, if you don't stop pacing up and down, I'm afraid you'll have to leave the room.
Nurse, are you ordering me out of my own son's room?
You know the doctor's instructions. Your son must have quiet.
And do you think that will save him?
I don't know. We can only wait.
Wait? You tell me to wait when my son is dying?
Mrs. Lincoln, please.
Mom.
No, you mustn't go near him, Mrs. Lincoln.
Let go of my arm, you hear?
Mrs. Lincoln, you mad?
Mom, it's so hot in here.
It's the fever, my darling. Try to lie still. Don't toss about so.
Ma, will I get well soon?
Yes, of course. Very soon.
Ma.
Yes, dear.
I don't think I will get well.
Oh, don't say that, darling. You must get well. You will get well. Please, get well, Willie, please. My little son did not get well. He died. The war dragged on. My 2 brothers in the Confederate Army were killed by my husband's armies. And people talked again. I heard all their whispers. Then one day I received a letter from my sister Emily. Young, handsome Ben Helm, General Helm of the Confederate Army, decorated and brave, was killed in action. Emily was alone. She had no place to go. I persuaded Mr. Lincoln to allow her to stay with me. Oh, I knew there would be more talk. The wife of a Southern general living in the White House. But she was my sister. I sat in my room waiting for her to arrive. Who is it?
It's me, Emily. Yes, it's me. You can open the door wider, Mary.
Emily. Oh, Emily.
Mary, how you've changed. Are you ill? You look so strange.
No. But, Emily, I've been dying to tell someone. Wait, I'll lock the door.
You did lock the door when I came in.
Oh, yes. I began to forget things. Emily, I want to tell you a secret. You're the only person I dare tell it to.
Yes. Tell me, Mary.
Come, move your chair closer.
What is it, Mary?
Emily, sometimes at night.
Yes? Go on.
Sometimes at night, I hear voices.
Mary, what are you talking about?
Yes, I hear them calling to me at night. Willie and Ben Helm.
Mary!
Yes, speaking just like they were in this room with me. That's why I locked the door, Emily. I don't want anyone else to know they're here. No, you mustn't look so afraid, Emily. I was afraid at first. But after a while, it's pleasant sitting here in the rocker talking to them. You mustn't let anyone know my secret, Emily. You won't tell anyone, Emily, will you?
No. No, Mary, I won't. Oh, Mary.
And one day the bells began to ring. Peace. Peace came at last. I was almost too weary with the strain of these years to realize it had come. But I was happy. Abe was happy. We had both grown so old in these few years. But it was over now. peace, peace. On the Friday before Easter, Good Friday, I persuaded Abe to go to the theater. I was getting dressed. Will you be wearing this black dress, Mrs. Lincoln? Oh, no. Bring the blue lace one, Mrs. Keckley. This is a real celebration. Mr. Lincoln and I haven't been out together for so long. Where are you going, Mrs. Lincoln? To the theater, Mrs. Keckley. To Ford's Theater. Mr. Lincoln died that night. Died in my arms. And his voice was added to all the other voices I listened to in the dark safety of night. Mary Todd, widow of the President of the United States.
Mary Todd, widow.
Alone with the voices I heard in the night.
Ma! They're bringing him home, Mary. He's the new president. You're a Southerner, aren't you? You're a spy.
You're a Southerner.
You're a traitor. We can't trust you.
Ma!
Then one day I was taken to a courtroom.
We have heard the testimony of Dr. Isham and the other witnesses. The verdict of this court is that the defendant is of unsound mind, incapable of handling her property and conducting her affairs.
You're mad, Mary Todd. You're mad.
The defendant is remitted to Bellevue Sanitarium at Batavia in the state of Illinois in accordance with arrangements to be made by her family. Case dismissed.
Dismissed. Dismissed out of this life. Dismissed into an asylum. Widow of the great president. After a while, they let me out of the sanitarium. I hurried away. I wanted to forget. I fled to London. There I lived in a quiet boarding house. The widow of the great president. I was an old lady by now. I rarely went out. But one day I had to mail a letter. I went down the street to the letterbox. Excuse me, miss. I'd like to post this letter. You're standing in front of the box. Oh.
Wait, don't hurry away. Don't you remember me?
Yes. Yes, I do. Miss Kate Chase. And you're still beautiful.
Are you here alone, Mrs. Lincoln?
Yes.
Mrs. Lincoln, if there's anything I can do, I'm afraid we were all quite cruel to you in Washington.
Oh, it's such a long time ago, it doesn't matter. Good day, Miss Chase. No, even meeting Kate Chase didn't matter now. I really must be getting quite old. There was a cablegram for me on the bureau from Emily. She begged me to come back to America. I cried with joy. I was wanted. Emily wanted me. I was going home. I was going home at last. No longer afraid of my memories. No longer afraid.
Pierre, Robert, don't go so near the railing.
No, Mama.
Oh, Madame, will you watch them for a moment, please? I go to my stateroom for a sweat there.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Come here, Pierre, Robert. I had little boys like you once. Do you know what my name is?
No.
My name is Mrs. Abraham Lincoln. You know who Abraham Lincoln was, don't you?
No, Madame.
Don't they tell you about President Lincoln in school?
We don't go to school. We live in Paris. Our papa has a tutor for us. He teaches us in French.
When you get to America, I expect you'll go back to school. And then you'll learn all about Abraham Lincoln. And you can tell your teacher Abraham Lincoln's wife talked to you and told you that he was very fond of little boys. Abraham Lincoln's wife. You won't forget that now, will you? Abraham Lincoln's wife.
Thank you, Helen Hayes. And now, before telling you about next week's cavalcade, we want to tell you how DuPont engineers and chemists have saved the government of the United States since this war began more than $600 million in the process of manufacturing explosives. In a war that will cost the nation $100 billion during this year alone, $600 million may be a small item. But in a wider sense, the sum of $600 million is anything but a small item. For those saved dollars will buy just so many more tanks and guns and planes, which American production turns out better than any other. The saving breaks down something like this. All military explosives are based on nitric acid. When nitric acid plants had to be built to meet the greatly increased wartime needs for this chemical, they could be built at much less expenditure of critical material, time, and money, for the reason that development work carried on by DuPont since the last war for purely peacetime needs had resulted in greatly improved processes. This saving in money alone has been estimated at $250 million. Similarly, in the manufacture of smokeless powder, TNT, and Tetril, improvements in manufacturing processes have resulted in great increases in the capacity of the existing plants. This has made unnecessary the construction of additional units originally regarded as essential to meet military requirements. The additional plants, which now don't have to be built, would have cost some $380 million. These figures represent only the money saving, what we are individually and collectively in pocket as a result of improved engineering and chemical knowledge. Of even greater importance is the saving in critical materials, man-hours, and time, which are now released to speed victory in other ways. Every dollar saved is just one more dollar that can fight. We think you will be interested to learn of this $600 million saving by the men and women who are responsible in peacetime for DuPont's better things for better living through chemistry. Pinky was a good soldier, eager to be going overseas at last, and the two women on the train were friendly, interested, sincerely patriotic. None of them intended to do the thing they did, but information is like a chain, and the walls have ears. Listen next week when DuPont presents Everett Sloan in an exciting spy story by the noted mystery writer Mignon Eberhard. Be with us next week when Cavalcade presents Everett Sloan in The Enemy is Listening, especially written for this program by Mignon Eberhard. The special musical score was by Arden Cornwall. Cavalcade is pleased to inform its audience that Helen Hayes will soon be seen in the star-studded motion picture Stage Door Canteen. This is Clayton Collier sending best wishes from Cavalcade sponsor, the DuPont Company of Wilmington, Delaware.
82 years ago, May 31st, 1943, Cavalcade of America here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. By the way, I do not have Bomb Target USA in my collection here, and I'm trying to find it, but it appears it may be one of those shows that is lost. So we'll see. But visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, and up next, Dragnet.
Friends, this is Bob Hope. If an atom bomb were to hit your home city, would you know what to do? Remember, one explosion of an atom bomb could kill 75,000 and maim 100,000. This is only one kind of a disaster which could strike. In addition to many forms of enemy action, there are the dangers of fire, flood, earthquake, and traffic. Knowing what to do before, during, and after a disaster can improve your chances of survival. There is something you can do and do now. You can learn a pattern of survival. Your local Office of Civil Defense is ready to help. Persuade your club, your church, your friends, and your neighbors to help to learn to live. Remember, this is the atomic age. No one can escape its hazards, but everyone can prepare. Listen carefully. What you are about to hear can save your life. Do you know the siren signal in case of atomic attack? Do you know how to find shelter? Do you know how to give first aid? Do you know what will be done for your safety? For further details, consult your local Office of Civil Defense.
Preparation is important, as important today as it was back then. But always be prepared in case of emergency. Now, from 1951, May 31st. 74 years ago today, Jack Webb stars as Sergeant Joe Friday in Dragnet.
The story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to narcotics detail. You receive information that one of your city's most fashionable hotels is being used as the clearinghouse for high-grade heroin. Evidence points to a narcotics ring, the center of distribution. Your job, break it.
You'll be amazed when you compare Fatima with any other king-size cigarette.
The size is the same. They now cost the same. But in Fatima, the difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest domestic and Turkish tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild, with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
So compare Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Buy Fatima. They're extra mild, with a better flavor and aroma. Smoke Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Fatima, best of all long cigarettes.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, October 5th. It was foggy and rainy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Narcotics Division. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Captain Kearney. My name's Friday. It was 8:47 a.m. when we got to 401 North Avenue 19, the main jail. Felony section.
Morning, fellas.
How are you today, Pete? Morning.
What brings you up here so early?
We want to see Monty Wilkins, booked in last night on Narcotics. Booking number's 906-351.
Okay, let me look.
Okay.
Here it is. He's in 103.
Thank you, Pete. I'll put it in the book here, Joe.
Okay.
Here's my gun. You want to check it with yours?
Yeah, right.
I'll put him away.
Okay, Pete.
Here's your check.
Thank you, Pete. All set, Ben?
906-351.
That's it.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
All right. We want to talk to Monty Wilkins. He's in 103. All right, we'll get him.
Monty Wilkins, 103 for interview.
Friday, Ben?
Hi, Monty. Better move out of the way there. He wants to lock that door, Monty.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go around the corner to the interview room, Monty.
All right. Man, this is awful.
What's the matter? Don't you feel good?
I feel awful. Pretty sick.
You look bad. I'll get the light.
Okay, Ben. Sit down, Monty.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, it's been about a year and a half, hasn't it, Monty?
About that long, yeah.
We got you for possession that time, too, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
How long you been on the stuff this time?
Well, I guess I've been hooked bad about a month.
How much you shooting?
Oh, about 2 caps a day.
When you were picked up down in Slauson last night, you had 7 caps on you.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we checked with the crime lab. They've run the stuff. It's not the usual Mexican, is it?
That's right.
You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's not Mexican.
We know that, Monty. Where'd you get it?
Haven't had anything like that for a long time. Real good. Hadn't been cut. Real fine. Maybe it's coming in from the East Coast. Can't get nothing like that from Mexico.
Now, look, Monty, we ran the stuff through the lab. We know it's high-grade heroin. We know all about it. Now, I want you to tell us where you've been getting it.
Well, you know how it is. You want to ask the impossible of me? My life wouldn't be worth a penny. You know how it is.
We handled you a year and a half ago, didn't we, Monty?
Yeah.
You're still around, aren't you?
Yeah, I did time, though.
Well, you knew that going in. You're going to do time this trip, too.
So don't shoot us that line, huh?
Well, you guys know how it is with us guys. I can't tell you anything.
No, it isn't that you can't. You just don't want to. Now, look, we didn't come up here to spend the time of day with you, Wilkins. This is the only time around. If you want to help us, you can help yourself at the same time. It's up to you.
You mean you can clear me on this? You can give me a break?
We didn't say that. We can't make any promises to you or give you any kind of a break. It's entirely up to you how you want us to put it down in our reports. Cooperative or uncooperative.
Well, okay. You squared with me last time.
You helped us last time. We made a case.
But I'm not going to be able to help you very much.
Where you been getting it?
Well, I've only made a couple of buys on that good stuff. I just got it from some old mule I just happened to meet down there. Seemed to be pretty well loaded with the stuff.
Where'd you meet him?
Oh, down near 5th and Spring somewhere.
What's his name?
I never did know his name. I just knew that he was pushing the stuff. Some old mule, that's all.
Who's he pushing it for?
Now, you know they never tell us guys where they're getting it. You know how they do.
Yeah.
I never did talk to him very much. I did hear him say once he was getting his stuff from a new bunch of guys from the East. Said they were really going to open up this town. The way he talked, they're no small-time operators. I got enough out of it to know they're working out of the Plaza Royal Hotel. Never figured that, would you?
Anything else? Any names mentioned?
Yeah, I remember this old mule mentioned a couple names. I think he talked about somebody named Kirk and another guy called Smith. Now, you understand, this guy was just talking. I don't know how they fit in or what the connections are.
Yeah, we understand. Where can we get a hold of this old mule?
Well, I don't know where he's at.
How do you get a hold of him when you want to make a buy?
I just run into him, that's all. Down around Spring Street. You know, just around. The last time I was down, I couldn't find it.
Well, is that all of it, Monty? And all you can tell us?
Well, I don't know too much anyway. You know how it is. I couldn't tell you any more. That's all I know.
All right, let's get on to this 510 if that's all you got.
And that's everything I got. Hope you fellas will write me up okay. I think I helped you quite a bit, haven't I? One of the best hotels in town, Plaza Royal. Never would have figured that, would you?
Maybe.
I've told you quite a lot. The rest ought to be easy.
No, you're wrong there, Monty.
Why?
You haven't told us the name of your mule. You haven't told us where we could find him. You haven't made it so easy.
Well, that's all I have. I've told you a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot you didn't tell. We continued our interrogation of Monty Wilkins. He refused to divulge any further information. What he had told us, together with information already compiled, seemed to check out. For the past 7 months, we'd been trying to localize the operations of what had come to be regarded as a well-running distribution center for high-grade heroin. We knew of the existence of this distribution point through the various users that had been picked up almost daily. These users would have in their possession quantities of high-grade narcotics. Unlike the cheaper, lower-grade quality common in the southwest part of the country, this type of heroin was more common to the eastern section of the United States. We had believed the local distribution point to be somewhere in our metropolitan downtown area. The information gained from Monty Wilkins had strengthened this theory. 10:25 a.m. We met with Francis Kearney, captain of the narcotics division.
Plaza Royal Hotel, what do you think?
Well, we've figured what we were looking for could be in that area, but we've never put our finger on that hotel.
How do you figure on working it?
Well, driving back from the jail, Ben and I were just kicking it around. Skipper, what do you think about putting a man in that hotel?
Anything's a great deal better than we're doing now, but I don't know.
Well, I'd like to give it a try.
You sure like a crack at it, Skipper?
You know how I feel about these kind of assignments. One man working inside, one outside. Brings the element of danger up kind of high.
Well, we know it's not going to be easy, but it looks like a good bet.
Sometimes these things are, sometimes they're not. You know what kind of a bunch they got to be. Been running their racket just about as smooth as it can be run. You know the kind of a risk a man would have to take if he tried to make contact with any of them.
Well, we think it's about the quickest way to get to them.
Well, maybe it might be worth it. You got any ideas how you'd like to work it?
There's just one thing. We haven't come to any decision who's going in and who isn't.
Well, I think I ought to be the one to work it from the inside of the hotel with Ben working outside as a contact.
I don't know why we can't just turn that around. Last time you had the rough end.
Joe, you just got back from your vacation about 3 weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't you stay down in Arizona? Phoenix, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know the town very well?
Oh, we got some relatives down there, yeah.
If they started asking you any questions about Phoenix, you could fill them in, huh?
I think so, yeah.
That's probably the best way to settle it, Romero. Friday here will be in a better position knowing a little about Phoenix.
I don't see how you figured that way. I went on my vacation, too. Columbus, Ohio.
Well, because of the type of stuff that's been coming in, don't you think it'd be a little safer bet to have our men come from somewhere out this way rather than from the east?
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, you did it again, Joe. You beat me out.
All right, let's figure it this way. You're a local Phoenix hoodlum. Things got too hot for you down there, and you came up to L.A. to cool off.
Yeah.
How about Joe Edwards? How's that sound?
That sounds right to me.
We'll get all the necessary cards, identification papers, and a few letters to carry around with you, all under the name Joe Edwards.
All right.
I think the best way to work it is for you to hop right down to Phoenix. When you get in town, check with Roberts. He's in narcotics down there.
Yeah, I know him.
Have Roberts fill you in on what's been going on down there. Any of their current characters they've handled recently. Any that have been known to pass through, so you can talk about it freely.
Yeah, I understand.
Joe, when you check into the hotel down there, why don't you wire ahead up here to the Plaza Royal for reservations? Might be a good cover.
Yeah.
Good thought. That's the way to handle it. You two have worked these things before. You know what to do, all the necessary precautions.
Well, how long do you figure out to lay over in Phoenix?
A couple days, maybe. Think that's long enough for you to get filled in, what you'll need?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Well, I'll go home and get packed. I'll start on it first thing in the morning. Huh?
All right. Romero will stand by at all times, day and night, while you're on this thing. You know enough to call if things get tight.
Sure.
As soon as you get in from Phoenix and get located at the Plaza Royal, get in touch so we'll know which way to move.
Right. Anything else?
Oh, we want to break this thing, but we don't want to do it at the risk of a life. So if it starts getting warm, check out.
Okay.
I still don't like sending anybody on something like this, but it's got to be done. We don't know enough about it. We don't know how many are in the gang. We don't know what kind of a bunch they are, so be careful.
I will.
If you're not and I hear about it, this will be your last assignment like this.
Yeah.
If I don't hear about it, well, you figure it.
Yeah, either way I lose. I went over to the photo room at the crime lab and picked up the identification papers that had been made out in the name of Joe Edwards. I went home and removed all Los Angeles labels from the clothing that I was to take with me to Phoenix, Arizona. I removed all my personal identification and Los Angeles Police Department credentials. I left my service revolver home and borrowed a .38 automatic from Ben. I packed it in my suitcase. The crime lab also furnished me with a package or a bindle made to resemble the usual form in which a person would carry heroin. I packed this in my suitcase. Before my departure, Ben and I went over the proposed plan as best we could. I was to arrive from Phoenix under the assumed name of Joe Edwards. I would register at the Plaza Royal Hotel in downtown Los Angeles and attempt to make arrangements to participate in a narcotics buy for the purpose of gaining sufficient evidence to apprehend the narcotics ring. I was to keep Ben informed as best I could of my progress. As outlined by Captain Kearney, I arrived in Phoenix and contacted Sergeant Roberts at the Detective Bureau down there. He furnished me with all the necessary information and assisted me in acquiring local Phoenix clothing store labels to have sewn in my clothing. I obtained everything possible to make it appear that I was a longtime resident of Phoenix, Arizona. Several dummy hotel bills were made up for me to make it look as if I'd lived there for a period of time. I was furnished with an Arizona driver's license, a membership in the local social club, and a voter's registration stub. These were all packed in my suitcase. October 9th, 10 a.m., I arrived at the Plaza Royal Hotel, the front desk.
Yes, sir?
My name's Edwards. I'm in from Phoenix. Did you get my wire?
One moment, sir. Yes, sir. Joe Edwards?
Yeah, that's right.
Would you sign the register, please?
Yeah, all right.
Thank you. What?
Yes, sir.
Would you show this gentleman to room 211, please?
Yes, sir. This way, please.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
2, please. Not very nice weather to arrive in Los Angeles, is it, sir?
No, not too good.
I see by the stickers on your bags you've been through Arizona.
Yeah, that's right.
Must be nice weather down there, huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
This way, sir.
Thank you.
Let me open a window for you, sir. A little fresh air in here.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Here you go.
Thank you very much, sir. Help you with your bags?
Yeah, all right.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Something dropped out on the floor here.
You better let me have that.
Sorry. Very sorry that happened.
That's all right.
Mr. Edwards, while you're in town here, if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to let me know.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't help but notice that little package there that I dropped.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I know my way around here in this town. If you need anything, anything at all, sir.
I'll tell you what. Now, here's $5. You never saw anything fall out of my bag there, right?
Anything you say, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot. See you later, huh?
Yes, sir. Anything else, sir?
No, that'll be all.
You remember what I told you, sir?
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing to you. I couldn't be sure, but it looked like I'd been lucky right from the start. The bellboy at the Plaza Royal Hotel. I didn't know if I could consider this an opening contact or not, but he seemed to show more than a passing interest in the bindle of narcotics that he had seen fall from my suitcase. I didn't feel it was the right time to press the issue any further with the bellhop, but I figured I'd wait and leave the next move up to whoever he might have been working for. During the next 3 days, nothing happened. I tried, without appearing to be too bold, to arouse some interest, but without success. October 13th, my 5th day at the Plaza Royal Hotel, 6 p.m. I went in the bar off the main lobby.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
Kirk Harding's my name. I noticed you here in the bar the last couple of nights. You up here to buy a little, or are you selling?
I don't believe I follow you, Harding.
Look, boy, we've had you tabbed since that first day you hit town, October 9th. We haven't been out here too long ourselves. We're in business, too. Same business you're in.
Well, I don't know what kind of business you think I'm in, but you got it figured wrong, mister.
You know, this entire matter would work out much better for you in the long run if you'd level with me. You're just going to make it tough on yourself this way, Edwards.
Well, I'm sorry. You lost me way back somewhere.
All right, let's do it the hard way. You're up here from Phoenix. We know you've got some stuff with you. We know you're not a user. You're a member of the social club down there. You're a registered voter.
Well, you've been working real hard, haven't you?
Well, there's more. You got 2 pieces of luggage. You're carrying a .38 automatic.
Any more?
Yeah. There's a telegram from a friend of mine down in Phoenix.
Yeah?
We know all about you, mister.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic cases from official police files. Now, let's look at our Fatima files.
Listed under L. Lovett. Vice Admiral Leland P. Lovett, United States Navy retired. He says,
I smoked Fatimas when I was a midshipman. I still do, because they have a better flavor and aroma. Fatima is easily the best of all long cigarettes.
Friends, more smokers now insist on king-size Fatimas than ever before. Because in Fatima, the difference is quality.
quality of tobaccos. The finest domestic and Turkish varieties, extra mild, superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, round, perfect cigarettes. Rolled in the finest paper money can buy. Manufactured in the newest and most modern of all cigarette factories.
Quality, even to the appearance of the bright, clean, golden yellow package, carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
So, if you smoke a king-size cigarette, compare Fatima.
You'll find they now cost the same. But your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Buy Fatima. Smoke the quality king-size cigarette. Fatima. Best of all long cigarettes.
It was a tight moment as Kirk Harding fingered the telegram in the bar of the Plaza Royal Hotel. I'd spent many hours in consultation with Sergeant Roberts in Phoenix, Arizona, before undertaking this assignment. I felt sure that we hadn't overlooked anything that might lead to my true identity. Kirk Harding read the wire to me. It was from a man by the name of George Ferguson. He'd done some legwork for Harding and had not been able to furnish him with anything other than what had been found out in going over my room. I knew I'd found the contact that I was looking for. I told him that I was in the business of buying narcotics, that I was in Los Angeles for the purpose of making a prearranged narcotics buy with agents dealing in Mexican stuff. Harding immediately gave me a strong sales pitch, saying that he could furnish me with high-grade heroin fresh from the European market in quantity. At the end of the first week, I was introduced to Kirk Harding's 2 associates, another man called Smith, full name Horace L. Smith, and a woman by the name of Lucille Cosgrove. Ben had been unable to find records on any of the 3. For the next 3 weeks, we became more friendly. We went places together, spent a great deal of time together. Monday, November 15th.
Well, we've had a lot of fun the last few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, but I got to be getting back to Phoenix.
Well, now, don't get eager, Joe. You know how cagey you were. You made us wait. Preliminaries are over. This is the big buy for you or anybody else.
Yeah, I know all that, but when?
Just be patient. You'll have something to really set yourself up with down there.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, hi, Lucille.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Lucille. What's the matter, Smith? Don't you feel good?
I don't know. It's hotel food, I guess. I think I got an ulcer. My stomach's sore all the time.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know what it could be. Baking soda don't do any good anymore.
How about a drink? Joe?
Yeah, fine with me.
Lucille, you want to get some ice out of the kitchen, please?
Sure.
Skip me.
Smith, you ought to go see a doctor. You don't know for sure what's wrong with you. You might make it worse.
If I don't know what it is, how could a doctor?
I don't know. It works for everybody else. Might for you.
Hey, I can't get this ice tray out. Joe, would you give me a hand, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, which one here?
I got the ice. Keep working on that other tray there. It's something to tell you.
Okay.
Listen, Joe, the big buy's tonight.
You sure?
Yeah.
How about it, you two? You need any help?
No, that's all right, Kirk. It's coming along fine.
Joe, as soon as you show your money tonight, they're going to kill you.
How do you know?
Look, we don't have time to go into it. I know. You won't have a chance. They're going to kill you.
What are you doing? Waiting for them to freeze? Come on, how about the ice cream?
Oh, they're right here, Kirk. I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want? Lucille? Joe?
Coke High's all right.
Yeah?
I'll make mine bourbon, a little water.
All right. Smith, you sure you don't want one?
No, can't do it.
Joe, before I mix them, I got something for you.
Yeah?
Smith tells me tonight's the night.
Well, that's good, but why didn't you tell me a little ahead of time? I got a date for tonight.
Well, I think you better break that one and keep this one, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do, but just wish you'd have told me a little sooner.
Well, there's the phone. You can take care of it.
Is it all right with you?
You know as much about this business as we do. Go ahead and use it as long as we can hear you.
Okay, fine. Just take a minute.
Want to sit here, Joe?
Oh, thanks, Smith. Yeah. Say, I wonder if you'd get my drink for me over there?
Sure.
She's probably going to be upset. I may need it, huh? Hi, honey. This is Joe.
Oh, yeah, Joe.
I'm sorry I won't be able to make it tonight, dear.
You can't talk, huh?
That's right, dear. No, I just can't get out of it.
I'll do the talking, Joe. Is it by tonight?
Yeah, well, it just came up all of a sudden.
Where do you know?
No, darling, I can't tell you where I'm going. You couldn't go along anyway.
Okay, we'll be with you 5 minutes from now all the way. Where are you now, at the hotel?
Well, that's the way it is, and I can't help it, that's all. Maybe we can get together later, huh?
We'll use one car, Joe. We'll stick as close as we can to you. One car ought to be safe, huh?
Well, that's better, honey. Now, that's the way I like to hear you talk. I'm sorry. And I'll see you later, huh?
We'll be with you.
Okay, dear.
Well, she still love you?
Yeah, she loves me. 15 minutes after I hung up, we went downstairs and got into a green Chrysler sedan. It was parked out in front of the hotel. I looked around. I didn't see Ben or any of our cars in sight. Smith drove, and Kirk and I got in the back seat. The woman, Lucille Cosgrove, remained at the hotel. I didn't know which of the two men was planning to kill me, but I felt sure Lucille Cosgrove told me the truth. Her information on the buy was right, and maybe this other was correct as well. We drove out Figueroa Street for about 16 miles. At this point, it became evident we were heading for the Los Angeles harbor area.
You ever see a fog as thick as this, Joe?
No, never have.
Can't see 50 feet in front of me.
Yeah, well, just take it easy. Nobody's in a hurry.
That's right. Don't want to pile up anywhere.
Where are we going?
We're almost there.
This your car here? I've never seen this one before.
No, we rented it. Isn't that the way you operate?
Yeah, that's right. I Just wondered if you played it as safe as I do.
We do.
I'm going to swing in this next alley up here, Kirk.
Somebody tailing us? Kill your lights.
Right. See anything out the back window?
Wait a minute. How'd they go?
How'd it look?
2 guys in the front seat. Could have been somebody. What do you think, Joe? How'd it look to you?
Well, whoever it was, we lost him anyway.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's go.
Look at that. Clear spot here in the fog. Don't see a soul anywhere.
It's fine.
We almost there now?
Yeah, just around the corner. This is a break, isn't it? Fog's clear right in here. All socked in back up there. Well, we're as safe as you'd want to be, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
This is it.
Over by the storage building?
Yeah, that's right. Come on, let's go. Over this way, Joe.
What's over there in that building?
We're not going inside, just over there in that alcove.
All right, this is it, Joe. Let's see the money.
Well, wait till I see the stuff, huh?
You don't trust anybody, do you?
What are you trying to prove?
Well, I didn't like what he said.
You're not going to like what I got to say either. Freeze, mister.
Drop it, you!
Watch it, Ben! He ducked in this alcove.
Oh! Take care of that one there.
All right, easy, huh?
Yeah, you see him?
No, it's too dark. There he is.
That's enough! I'm coming out!
All right, throw your gun out ahead of you.
He's not going to throw that gun out, Joe. Watch it.
Come on. There's his gun.
Yeah, I got it.
You want to shake him down?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
On your feet. Where'd you get hit?
My shoulder. Let me see. You're all right, just grazed you.
You're a cop, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Now, come on, let's go.
Where's his stuff?
On the back seat in my car. Now, you tell me something. Why'd you slug Smith?
I just wanted something I knew you'd never give me.
What's that?
An even chance.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 4th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 81, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. Friends, let's compare Fatima with any other long cigarette. Now, Fatimas are the same length, 85 millimeters. Fatima has the same circumference, 1 1/64 inches around. And Fatima filters the smoke exactly the same long distance as other king-size cigarettes. But in Fatima, the difference is quality. You get extra mildness, a different, much better flavor and aroma. That's right. Fatima gives you all the advantages of extra length plus Fatima quality, which no other king-size cigarette has. Tomorrow, buy Fatima.
All three suspects, Kirk Arthur Harding, Horace L. Smith, and Lucille Marie Cosgrove, were convicted for violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Harding and Smith were convicted on one count of attempt to commit murder. They are now serving their terms as prescribed by law in the state penitentiaries. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet portions transcribed from Los Angeles.
Stay tuned for Counter Spy, next over most NBC stations.
74 years ago, May 31st, 1951, Dragnet, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A clip of Orson Welles' Almanac coming up next.
This is Groucho Marx. A few days ago, I was talking with the Director of Civil Defense, and he told me some things that I feel everyone should know. That's why I'm speaking to you now. Did you know, for example, that your chances of surviving an atom bomb attack are excellent? It's true, but there's a big if. You must do everything possible now to help yourself and your family. Nobody else will help you. Listen, because this is important. Keep a complete first aid kit handy. Keep a closed container of drinking water in your refrigerator, enough for 3 days. Be sure you have a good fire extinguisher. Take a look around your house right now and pick out the safest spot, away from windows and doors. Make sure that every member of your family understands he is to rush to that safe spot when there's danger. I'm convinced that these precautions are necessary right now, and I hope I can convince you. They're important to your family, yourself, and your community.
So last Sunday, we aired the second part of Donovan's Brain on 2 consecutive Sundays here. His performance in Suspense. And we mentioned it was the last time that Wells had performed on Suspense. And I wonder if this is part of the reason. On this date, 81 years ago today, May 31st, 1944, Orson Welles parodies his role in the 2-part Suspense Donovan's Brain. Let's see, do you think if the folks from Suspense heard this, they might say, do we really want Welles back?
You know, one of my favorite radio programs is Suspense, and the story they've been doing for the last couple of weeks is really a killer. Seems one Dr. Corey, a famous brain surgeon, has discovered a method of keeping the human brain alive after death. In the course of his fiendish experiments, Corey acquires the brain of William H. Donovan, a Wall Street tycoon. This brain very shortly gains control over Dr. Corey's brain, and when this happens, Corey thinks and talks like Donovan. Sort of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. By way of restaking our claim in the scream and shudder department, the Mercury offers now its own black market version of that rip-snorting spine chiller, Donovan's Brain.
This is the Man in Black, with the performance of Marjorie Reynolds as Janice and Orson Welles as Dr. Ronald Corey. We again hope to keep you in suspense.
As I sit outside my laboratory door, writing under the heading Experiment 87, this final entry in my casebook, you know, I'm a sort of a fat Ronald Coleman. I realize now that these are the last words I shall ever write upon this earth. July 13th. Today I sat in a radio studio and listened to Niles K. Donovan, the well-known radio announcer.
Tantalizing, tasty, toasted, and guaranteed rust-proof. And now, friends, for the details of our new $8 million prize contest. Sure.
At that very moment, a contest fiend, driven frantic by Donovan's persuasiveness, rushed to the stage, tore off the top of Donovan's head, and mailed it to the sponsor. An old joke, but an extraordinary piece of luck for me. By sending in 7 soap labels, together with 35 cents to cover the cost of wrapping and mailing, I gained possession of Donovan's Brain, the living, pulsing brain of the greatest radio announcer ever to read a commercial. That night in my laboratory, I was joined by my associate and colleague, another mad scientist, old Dr. Frugelheiser. I say, Frugelheiser, what have we got here?
You know what we got here, Goring. It's the brain.
The brain of Donovan, the radio announcer?
Just as we planned, Doctor. The brain is alive here in this jar. We are keeping it alive.
Tell me more. I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds good.
But it's all simple. You see, the brain, when functioning, gives off infinitesimal electrical impulses.
Oh, yes.
I've hooked the encephalogroove up to a small amplifying system. The brain impulses can actually be heard. Here, I turn it on.
First time I ever saw a brain with a bald head. I think we should explain that Donovan's brain is being played by Charlie Cantor in a jar of alcohol. Too much alcohol. The brain, ladies and gentlemen, is boiled.
You know, of course, Corey, that those oscillations of the brain are known as delta waves.
Delta waves?
They maintain a steady rhythm.
Any resemblance to the Delta Rhythm Boys is purely coincidental.
But, Doctor...
I didn't think that was funny when we wrote it, but...
But, Doctor, what please from these experiments is the purpose?
Well, don't you see, Frugelheiser, that brain can think. Ask it a question. Anything at all.
All right, I ask a question. Look, brain. Who much is due?
Who much? That's all.
All right.
An accent, yes, but who much? No.
How?
Once again,
How? I'm a German Indian.
Now he's an Indian.
How much is due undue?
No, not that way. This way. Donovan. Brain, old boy. How much is 2 and 2? 2 and 2. $87 and a set of encyclopedias to Dr. Frugelheiser. This is exasperating. Come, brain, try it again. 2 and 2. Oh, shucks, tilt.
Ronald!
Oh, there you are, Janice, my darling wife, Janice, my lovely, my gorgeous, my beautiful. Amazing.
It's amusing but confusing.
Oh, dear, it's awfully warm in here. I think I'll take my coat off.
Put your coat back on, dear. The brain is blowing its top. And now I've got work to do. Out, everyone out. Please leave me.
Wait, Ronald, darling. Don't you see what this is doing to you?
What do you mean?
Well, talking to that radio announcer's brain all the time. His brain talking to you. It's changed you somehow.
Nonsense, I haven't changed.
Oh, you have, Ronald. Well, you used to love to sit home with me and listen to the radio all evening.
Yes, but I don't like it anymore. What good is radio? Sometimes you have to listen to 15 or 20 minutes of entertainment before you get even a teensy-weensy commercial. And that's the best part of radio. Oh, commercial. Sure. That's what I like. Sure. July 18th. Last night, as I entered the house...
Darling, where have you been?
Why, I just went down to the corner to get some razor blades.
Oh, well, dinner will be ready in a few minutes, dear.
Fine. Meanwhile, I'll just run upstairs and shave with those hollow ground genuine green blades which glide over your whiskers and make you face happy. And if I don't get 100% shaving satisfaction, I get double my money back at a floor lamp. Sure. Sure.
Stop it, please.
Sure. What's the trouble, dear?
Oh, I can't stand it any longer. The same thing day after day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday? Whenever you're thirsty, try a bottle of delicious Pepsi Cola. Sure.
Oh, Ronald, the brain is growing stronger than you.
Darling, how can you talk like that?
Oh, Ronald, if only we could be as we used to be. I love you, Ronald. You're more attractive than ever. Take me in your arms.
My sweet. Now, this isn't supposed to be funny. This is a highly emotional scene. Say, take me in your arms again, please. We get back in the
Oh,
mood
you're so
somewhere.
attractive. Take me in your arms.
My sweet. You never should have said I was attractive. That's what tipped the whole thing. My sweet, nothing will ever come between us. Kiss me. Donovan, get back in that jar.
Oh, that's the last straw. Ronald, you must make your choice now. Choose between that brain, that radio announcer's brain, and me. When you've decided, contact me.
I must have time to think. Janice wants me to destroy the brain, should I?
Don't be a chump. Why destroy the brain? Destroy Janice.
Destroy Janice.
Sure. It's easy. It's easy. Put her to sleep first.
How could I do that?
Simple, very simple. Run down to your neighborhood druggist and get a box of Tsitsi sleeping pills. They come in 4 delicious flavors: cat nap, knockout, no twitch, and pooped.
Don't you see there's no time?
Well, there are other ways to put her to sleep. Send her to see Jane Eyre.
No, that's too severe. Murder's bad enough, but torture, no.
Listen to me. Go into that room. Sneak up behind her.
I can't.
Don't interrupt.
I will.
You won't.
I can't.
You must.
I shan't.
You shall.
No.
Sure.
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Stop that dancing up there. I won't hear anymore. Yes, I will too. Sorry, Brain, I take it back. Brain, please talk to me. Brain, I didn't mean it. Corey to Brain, come in, Brain. Over. What's that, Brain? You have what? A plan? What is the plan, Brain? Finished? You want a half-hour radio show with only 3 minutes of entertainment, all the rest commercial? Brain, you must be mad. I'm going to destroy you. It's no use, Brain. This is the finish.
Oh, wait! Darling, what happened? You destroyed the brain.
Yes, Janice, and now I'm freed. You hear me? Free. I'll never again be controlled by that monster Donovan.
Oh, my sweet. This makes me so happy.
It does?
Yes, it does.
Does everything. It makes your dishes sparkle, your kitchen work easier. Sure. Sure.
Oh, my goodness. This is a satire of Donovan's brain, as it was broadcast 81 years ago today, May 31st, 1944, during the Orson Welles Almanac program, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Join us tomorrow for more drama with Frontier Gentlemen, Suspense, the FBI in Peace and War, a Hall of Fantasy. That's all tomorrow. Thanks for being with us, and see you next time. For more Classic Radio Theater, I'm Wyatt Cox.